Welcome, Libra and Libra cross watchers, to your love reading for the month of November 2023. So from the big deck, we got overall relationship situation. And then from this deck, there's two cards there. Okay. We'll get what each of you is thinking, feeling, and then actions or intentions towards each other. And of course, we'll pull some clarifiers if we need. So I'm sorry these are a bit late this week, guys. Unfortunately, I just had a couple papers and midterms, so yeah, catching up was, or not catching up, but just staying on top of it. So I'll try my best to get all of these out over the next couple of days. So on your end here, we have the Three of Swords, Three of Cups in your headspace, Ace of Pentacles in your heart space, and the Six of Swords is your intentions. I'm kind of feeling, and I was feeling this a little bit in the pre-shuffle. I'm just kind of getting here that somebody seems to kind of come into your energy, and it's almost the energy of like you expect to meet a friend for coffee, and it's going to be, and you expect it to be like, hey, how are you? And really lighthearted, and then you see them and they're beside themselves about something. Right? It's like there's this expectation of a certain type of interaction with somebody, and I feel like it takes a bit of a turn. Not like, you know, for the worse in that this person's being unkind to you. It just feels like they end up needing a different side of you than you were originally going to bring to the table. Actions or intentions of Libra's person. Oh, okay. I'm going to try to not freak out here, but I'm going to a little bit. It's very rare for the King and Queen to come out from the same deck in the same read, but right next to each other. And like, I shuffle the deck. And after every read, I'm just going to show you, I actually take the cards individually and I'll like put them in at different spots. So it's really shuffled up. So that's really interesting. Anyway. So, back to the read. I kind of feel like this might sound strange, but it's almost like whatever interaction you have where you are met with this unexpected energy from the other person, it's almost like you're coming right off of that when you run into this, your person here, right? And it feels like they kind of expect a different version of you, and it's like they might be trying to relate to that other version of you. I'm just not so sure it lands, right? It's like they might be cracking jokes and stuff like that, and you're over here like, no, not the time. You know what I mean? So, we have the Nine of Wands upright usually talks about a wounded warrior. Oh my God. So we have the Four of Pentacles with the Ten of Swords, if I can pick up, and the Seven of Jesus. Like these are all the cards of holding back, being greedy, lies, cheating, jealousy, things getting as bad as they possibly can, right? And then we have this, oh, sorry, that's reversed. And then the Nine of Wands here reversed. It's almost like somebody may be expecting you to be defensive and you're not. You know what I mean? It's like if you're in a really tough spot, I feel like you it's almost like this person doesn't expect you to be that way. I don't know if they were looking at you through like rose-colored glasses or something. I'm going to be honest. I feel like I'm not connecting to this read properly, so I'm sorry. If I'm not, let me know in the comments, and if I have time, I'll do a second one. But I'm going to keep going here. It's almost like this person is somebody that they've been through so much that they don't, it's almost like they may not be able to wrap their head around being that affected by other people. You know what I mean? It's like, let's say, for example, somebody like screws you over and you're upset about it. It's like this person, from their perspective, would be like, why are you even upset? You know what I mean? Because like they just expect people to do that. And when they do that, they're like, yeah, that sounds about right. Not, it's not to say that that's, anyone is right or wrong for how they think. It's just, it's different between the two of you. So they're looking at you like, yeah, what's the problem? And it's not a like callous sort of energy, but it does seem to, I feel like there's this willingness on your part to be transparent that makes them feel, it's almost like it's unnerving. It makes them feel like they want to bolt. It's almost this energy of you being vulnerable makes them, it's almost like it puts their energy off kilter somehow. Maybe, I mean, obviously there's someone that's uncomfortable with other people being vulnerable, but I mean, and it's too early to say in the read, often that can indicate if someone's uncomfortable with other people being open about their emotions, sometimes, not all the time, it can mean that they're denying what's going on with them, right? If this person, and listen, if they've been hurt enough and betrayed enough to the point that now they just expect people to F them over in, 10 ways from Sunday, I mean, I don't know what this person's been through, but for them to have that type of mindset towards people in general, it must have been significant and repetitive and like more than one person, right? Like people don't get like that because one person messes them around. They get like that to survive because it's over and over and over again. It's that kind of like when it's a way to cope, right? If this person, just to kind of, describe it a little bit, if this person feels that, or their perception is that they get kind of screwed over by everyone that's important to them, it's like in order for them to cope with that, in order for them to kind of like understand what's going on around them, they can't change what these people are doing to them, but they can change how they look at it. So instead of looking at it like, I need these people, they're looking at it like, well, I don't need any of these people. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. I don't need any of these people anyway. I heard SOBs, but I'm not going to say that on my channel because I do try to stay away from swearing. Just put that out there. Anyway. And it's almost like this person, this laughter that they have, this emotional fulfillment within themselves, I feel like they do have it, but it's very, very bittersweet. It's coming from a place of bitterness. So what's really interesting is I feel like you're kind of polar opposites here, at least from what I'm seeing right now, because that's where their head is at, right? And I feel like when you're down and out, you have a very different approach. And now I want to be clear, it doesn't mean that this person is doing exactly this or you're doing exactly what I'm about to describe. It just means that the energetics between the two of you are not the same. Like they're very different. So please take this as it resonates. Having said that, if this person isolates and says like, well, F these SOBs, I don't want anything to do with them. I feel like you, on the other hand, okay, wait a minute. I actually feel like you may hide it to a certain extent, but instead of isolating yourself, I feel like you may go out and want to socialize and be around people and enjoy the company of other people. But it does feel, maybe not all of you, I feel like you may avoid talking about this type of topic, right? It's like you're going out with friends to kind of escape the heaviness of it. So it's like, no, Libra doesn't want to sit here and chat about it. I feel like to a certain extent, most people might not even know when you're going through a tough time. So it's like both of you present as these resilient, unbreakable characters. And I feel like your person has been pushed to the point that they just don't care any. They just have had to stop caring about certain things. Whereas I feel like you still are able to connect to that emotion, but you are maybe not being as forthcoming. It's not that you have to tell everybody your business, right? It just feels like the difference is you may be hiding some of your things from the world, but you understand them and you're in touch with them when you're by yourself. This person has completely shut those off. They're not in touch with them and in themselves anymore. So in your heart space, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Gorgeous. Sometimes I really wish I could swear on here. But I got away from that because, you know, sometimes I listen to, well, not sometimes, I listen to YouTube stuff, and sometimes I want to be able to listen to it and not, you know, worry that if my kids overhear a word here or there, that it's going to be, you know, whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling. I feel like the difference here is it's almost like you're able to kind of put yourself out there. Let's say, for example, may not be the actual situation, but it's like you're able to say to this person, like, hey, I'm interested and I want something. And this person is like, it's like the second that somebody is, you know, kind or approaches them that way, the second that somebody acts vulnerable with them, immediate, like their walls are up and they just want to get out of there, right? It's like that's their trigger. I feel like this person has been taken advantage of so many times. I feel like they were the person that everybody came to. You know, that type of person that like they'll take their shirt off their back. They're just so giving and loving and they're so centered on others, right? And I feel like it doesn't feel necessarily that they like emptied their cup every time anybody asked, but I feel like it got to the point where they saw people were taking advantage of them. And then they stopped trying to tell people how to treat them. And they just let people show them how they felt about them, right? How the other people felt about them by how they treated them. And I feel like so many people dropped off, right? When this person was no longer fighting for the connection and just kind of allowed it to come or go, I feel like so many people were like, oh, well, okay. So many people dropped off for this one. And it feels like they feel abandoned. And it's almost, and that kind of ties back into the coping mechanism that the cards were talking about earlier when they were saying that it's like, that's how this person, just about to repeat myself, that's how this person copes with it. They have decided that they don't need anyone to be happy because that must be how they should be happy because everybody left anyway. Damn. That makes me want to cry. Crosswatcher, if that's what happened, I'm sorry that it did. Anyway, we have Six of Swords, and then on your persons, we have Eight of Wands, King and Queen of Pentacles. So, I feel like this person's defensive nature is going to come into play when it comes to this getting started. I almost feel like there's something that's going to happen. It doesn't feel like you even have a chance to reject this person. It's like they come up to you and start talking to you, and somebody else, you know how like, you know, the quintessential crappy school bully will come up and be like, what are you trying to get a chance with, Libra, you loser, right? It's that type of a thing. And I feel like when that happens, it really seems to push this person into an energy where they get really defensive. But what's interesting is it's like they may act like it was just a joke and kind of play it off a little bit, but I feel like they then, it doesn't feel like it's quite as dramatic as what I'm about to say. Okay. Not quite a tailspin, but it definitely, you know, they take it to heart, which is really unfortunate. Really unfortunate because it's just somebody being a jerk for no reason, right? And I feel like this person looks at it like, okay, well, let's say, just for example, okay, if they, how do I describe this? They're trying to look at themselves that, like, if they were going to date someone like that, like if they were going to date, would they want to date themselves? Right. And it's like they're trying to figure out what they should measure against. And it's almost like, and I feel like it doesn't quite, this is where the like, it's not quite a tailspin because I feel like their previous coping mechanisms kicked them into that energy. But this protective one where like, I don't really care. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like to a certain extent, they genuinely don't. Right? It's this energy of like, you can only push people so far before there are genuine changes. And I feel like that may be a factor here. So yes, there may be a little bit of issues with vulnerability and that sort of thing. But when it comes to people pulling nonsense like that, it's like, it might send them back into that energy for a second. And it's like, and then they remember like, wait a minute, I've been through like way worse. Like this person is not going to do anything. Right. So there's a little bit of it's almost the energy of this person has these new coping mechanisms and they've healed a bunch of stuff. And so they're a new and improved version of themselves. But the old thought patterns haven't quite been eradicated, right? It's like they're still there. If ever you have done like some really transformative healing, and then somebody does something that you would normally have a big reaction to, but you're kind of sitting there like, okay. Sometimes there can be this a little back and forth in your head that like, should I have a big reaction right now? Like it doesn't seem like I should, but or like I don't feel like I want to. It doesn't feel like that's what I need to do, but should I? Anyway. So listen, this person is looking for a partner. I feel like they haven't given up hope, but I feel like to a certain extent, sorry to smack my lips like that. There's something stuck on that little hangy ball thing in the back. I should know the term for that. Anyway, I'm just trying to get it off. Anyway, sorry. I said that really loud to kind of pull myself out of that. So I feel like this person is looking for someone that they can really have faith in, that they can really pour into. I feel like to a certain extent, this person has actually been holding back a lot of love that they want to give to somebody. And I feel like they're being really smart about it. They're being really selective. I feel like there is a little bit of fear in them that when they find somebody that if when the floodgates open, that it might be, it's almost like they might have this release. You know how when you cry, but like there's nothing, it's not something bad that's happened. It just feels like there's this release of like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's here, it's happening. It's that type of deal. Anyway, sorry. Okay. I feel like what's interesting is if because of course the two of you still, have to choose each other. All I can see is the energy in the cards, right? I feel like if you were to choose each other, which it feels like there is some real things that like, listen, you have the Ace of Pentacles on your side. Your person has the King and Queen of Pentacles that came out next to each other on their side, right? Like that's pretty significant as a reader. So I feel like there's this message here that if the two of you get together, I feel like once the two of you, once this person is like, I feel like even before they fully trust you, because I feel like that'll take a while because of what they've been through, I feel like they're going to see more in you than you see in yourself. I feel like the connection with this person will take you from the Six of Swords to the Queen of Pentacles. Right? Look at the different type of energy. I feel like there's going to be a confidence about you. I almost want to say, don't take this the wrong way. Let me explain it after I say it. There's almost this air of like being a little bit smug, but. It's almost like it's an inside joke between the two of you. It's almost like you know that other people think that you think that you're better than them, but that's because they think that you're better than them and they're projecting that onto you, right? And like, y'all know that. So I feel like there's going to be something really transformative about this relationship. Maybe you've had people believe in you before, but there's something different here. And it's not coming, it doesn't feel like it's that this person's desperate, right? It's almost that energy of somebody that doesn't let anybody in, but they let you in. Not in a like toxic way, okay? It's more like this person is highly selective. And not only are they letting you in, but they genuinely believe in you. And they don't just say that. The way that they talk to you, the way that the choices that they make, the moves that they make, the ideas or situations or the opportunities that they set in motion or put forth to you show you that they do. I feel like there may be times where this person because they believe in you and they see more in you than you see in yourself sometimes. There may be times where you feel like it's almost like you may feel like it's hard to live up to their expectations in that. Let me explain. Not that like you're not, attractive enough or blah, blah, blah. It's nothing to do like that. It's more like what you're capable of accomplishing, right? So for example, you may want to obviously isn't going to be the actual situation for everyone. You want to start a new career in finance. And it's like, and you're happy, like you don't maybe want to go in on the bottom. But this person, it's like they're going to inject you right at the top because that's how they see you. And you're kind of like, well, that's a big responsibility. And you know what I mean? It just feels like sometimes you may feel that this person puts pressure on you. And I feel like you may have a little bit of a mixed relationship with that, right? It's like, it causes you to act in a way that actually proves to yourself that the belief that this person has in you is well placed, that it belongs there. But on the other hand, I feel like there may be times where the pressure is a bit much. And I actually feel like if you spoke to this person about it, you don't have to. I feel like some of you won't. I'm hearing some of you saying to me like, I'm not doing that. And I can't make you. So I'm just reading the cards. You always have choices in your life. This is just to kind of give you some insight or more clarity than you have. So if you're not comfortable with doing that, with going to this person and being like, listen, I think like I'm intimidated or I'm not overwhelmed, but it's almost like you're not someone to back away from achieving something, right? I feel like where it may get a little bit like the waters get murky, it's almost like there may be a little bit of a danger of you getting into a place where you feel like you're better than other people. Hang on, because it's almost like the insecurity that's kind of fostered by, it's like imposter syndrome, if that makes sense. So I feel like it takes the slightest hint from you to this person for them to kind of like back off or take something off your plate. It's like if they're a business owner and the two of you are running a meeting together and they're kind of like, okay, you can do that, right? Yep. Okay, great. And I feel like if you mentioned something there, you went to them after and like, hey, and if you really want me to do this, I will, but I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this. And it's like if you lay out in front of them what you already have on your plate, I feel like they'd be like, okay, not only if they really want you to do that one thing from the meeting, they'll clear up some of the stuff that you have. I feel like this is somebody that's very capable. It feels like they're the director, if that makes sense, right? It's like they're the person that puts people in the right spots, that knows who's good at what. It's almost like they're good at logistics, but when it comes to people, if that makes sense. So anyway, Libra, I think I'll leave it there. It does seem, um, I don't know. It seems like if the two of you end up choosing each other or you're able to explore this, that it might be something real. So that's it for today. We will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.